Welcome to episode 8 of the AmericanNoise podcast, 4 jobs at once. Because after this game that we're reviewing, that's exactly what Winston Moss is doing. Winston Moss has added the roles of defensive coordinator and linebackers coach to his job duties as of Monday this week, after sacking Pepper Johnson in what ended up being the highest scoring affair and the highest scoring team that they went against, the 37-point Houston Roughnecks. The Wildcats, of course, only got 17 points. All those points were in the first half. So while the offense did shut down the second half, the defense was definitely the main factor. The Wildcats lost. It only took 1 week for someone to get fired. And yeah, Pepper Johnson is out. The Wildcats have already drawn comparisons to the Cleveland Browns. Good luck, pal. So yeah, all is not well in LA as they prepare to host a fellow 0-1 team in Dallas. Of course, this game they did play. They went to Houston at TD-ECU Stadium. It was in front of 3.29 million viewers, pretty much just 10,000 less than the ABC game that had gone on earlier in the day. And finally, this was actually the lower rated of the two Fox games. 3.39 million was the Tampa Bay New York game, actually. Some would probably say that's mainly because New York's the higher drawing TV rating, and it definitely probably gets more viewers than LA. But, it's still a good rating, 3.29 million. The rating actually rose to like 26% throughout the game in viewership, so a very good sign there as well. It started off with a quick Houston score. They got the ball to 39 on a pretty good return, and on the third play of the drive, Walker sets up shotgun in the 50, and he just heaves it like crazy. He's able to find Cam Phillips, deep right, 50 yards, 6 points, the quickest touchdown of the campaign for any team. It is a quick 76-second drive. The one-pointer is unsuccessful, complete with a vomiting Houston wide receiver after drinking too much Gatorade. And it's 6-0 Houston just 83 seconds in. So they send out LA on the field. Jack Kanoff goes to work. Elijah Hood gets a 1-yard rush up the right guard on a 3rd and 1 to extend the drive. And eventually they find themselves at a 4th and 2 at their own 47. So what are they going to do? Well, they're going to try to draw Houston off sides, and if not, maybe just go ahead and screw it. As that seems to be the general attitude of Winston Moss. He's going to go places no one else goes. He's going to go for it on his own. He's going to go for it 4th down in his own territory in the first drive of the game. He's going to fire his defensive coordinator after 1 week. This is just the way he seems to be. So they plan to go for it. They don't get the playoff thanks to a Houston neutral zone infraction. So that gets them into Houston territory. Eventually, LA does answer for a touchdown. The next play, the 5th wide receiver on the depth chart, Whitfield, gets a 19-yard rush to the 29. They eventually do get a 3rd and 5 at the Houston 24. Kanoff sends it up to Spruce, a short pass, tons of yards after catch, gets him all the way to the Houston 5. And then on a 1st and goal, Kanoff scrambles down the left, and they get the 5 yards and 6 points. And a Smallwood reception adds 2 more points to the total. LA has taken the early 8-6 lead with 7:39 left in the first. So right now, LA's holding their own. They're several point underdog, as every team was, as every road team was, except for Tampa, who was actually favored. What a bad choice that was by Vegas. And this is also the only game to hit the over. You'll soon see why, thanks to Houston and the Walker attack. Houston does get the ball back. They 3 and out. They have to punt it away. LA starts to churn the yardage. And eventually, what happens is, let me see up here. Oh yeah, Houston. What they did on the punt, I forgot this. LA did not get the ball back on that punt. They muffed it. Punt returner gets under it, prepares to catch it, and it goes straight off his helmet. The first month of the XFL campaign, I was expecting we were going to get one in the first 2 weeks. Complete and total mistake there. It's recovered by Houston. They get a second lease on life. They get all the way down to the 22. They set up for the field goal, and they miss. Castillo swings it wide left, and the drive stalls on a second fourth down. And LA gets the ball back with a 2-point lead and 3:29 left in the first. Kanoff goes to work. They get all the way to the 44 of their own line. They have to punt it away back. So Houston does get the ball at their own 20. And they 3-and-out again. This time, they don't muff the punt. Whitfield's able to return it out of bounds to the LA 40. They're 6 yards away from the end zone. They slowly drive down the field. They have a 4th and 6 at their own 41. Or actually, no, they don't. So what they do is actually, LA eventually gets a touchdown, but it's after an interception. Kanoff sets up in Houston territory, 1st and 10, Houston 49. He's looking for Rose, and he finds Burnett. He was not looking for Burnett because Burnett's a roughneck. Kalen Burnett intercepts the pass. He gets to the LA 45. Hood, the running back, does tackle him down. And all that work is completely wasted by the Houston offense, actually. A 4-yard pass is followed by 3 straight incompletions. It's a 4-and-out turnover on downs. LA gets the ball back. And they don't waste this. They get an 18-yard rush first play, or 18-yard pass first play up to Spruce. Hood rushes for 5. Kanoff gets a 15-yard pass to Spruce again. There's already connection going. A few plays later, gets it to Smallwood, short left. Smallwood does the rest, gets in from 11 out. Touchdown LA. They do miss the 2-pointer, but it's 14-6. They're in full control. And everything from this point on starts to collapse and go into Houston's favor. Houston wastes no time. After the fourth play of the drive, LA 45, Houston's already in enemy territory. They throw it deep right to Phillips, and it's a 29-yard pass interference. Walker gets it to Butler, 16 out from the shotgun, and it is a 14-12 ball game with 7:15 left in the half. They do miss the 2-pointer to tie it up. LA still has the 2-point lead, but both teams have traded 2 touchdowns each. The 2-point conversion by LA after their first TD is the one thing that separates the two teams. LA gets in an extremely long drive. They get in 9 plays before an illegal contact penalty on Houston, and another 4 plays afterwards before they stall at the 17. If you don't count the penalty, it is a 14-play drive. The 14th play is a Nick Novak 35-yard field goal from the 17. They don't get it to a 2-possession game. It is 17-12. LA now has a 5-point lead, and there is only 1:30 left. There's only 1:26 left in the game. Houston actually muffs the catch. Butler completely loses it for a sec. The ball screeches out. James Butler is able to recover. He gets it all the way up to the LA 39. So he muffs the punt, and then he gets a huge return off of it. They get up to the LA 39. Walker goes deep middle for Mobley. No one there. He tries again for Mobley, deep left, and a 39-yard score. Walker's just running out of the pocket. He's tripping up. He throws it with his right arm across his buddy to the left corner of the end zone. Mobley's blown the coverage. He finds the ball in the back corner, and Houston takes the lead. They miss another 2-point conversion, so they're 0-3 on PATs, but they have the 18-17 lead with 1:03 left. They have left enough time on the clock for LA to score again, though. LA has a chance. They get it to the... And what happens is that just like the Dragons DC game, the last kickoff of the half is completely screwed up. They actually get the ball at the Houston 45 after an illegal procedure kick. The ball bounced out of bounds at the 6-yard line. And Kanoff finds a 27-yard pass to Barnes that gets him all the way to the 18. They get a couple of incompletions. They do get a short pass to Spruce for 7 yards. And they set up at the 11. They have no timeouts. They get a delay of game with 11 seconds left. So it's 1 second after the 10-second runoff. And they don't get the kickoff. They completely miss the chance for Folk to get a field goal and to make it 2018. And from that point on, it was all Houston. Houston now leads by 1. The momentum LA could have had is broken by awful clock mismanagement. And LA would not score again. They would get the ball first. They would end up having a 4th and 23 at their own 9, so they had to punt it away. And Houston would get the ball already in LA territory right at the 48. It would take them 7 plays to reach the end zone. Walker finds Lewis for a short 4-yard pass, gets the touchdown, and they eventually get a Walker rush. Their first attempt from 2 points, they missed Hawley, but it was a penalty. Walker ends up running it in himself on a scramble, and Houston now has a decently sized 26-17 lead. So it's now 9 points. It's a one-possession game. There's not great signs for LA. They need to make a comeback, and they get a long drive out of this. 4 plays before having a false start. On the 7th play of the drive, 3rd and 11, they get just enough yards to Smallwood to extend the drive. 8, 9, 10. The 11th play of the drive. It's a 4th and 8 from the Houston 36. Screw punting. That's not a good idea here. You also don't trust your kicker that much. And you're down by 9. Screw it. You're going for 6. And they go deep right to Smallwood. Kanoff cannot complete the pass. The defender is all over it. Let me see here. Yeah, Dietrich Nicholas, the main strong safety on the squad, breaks it up. And Houston gets the ball, complete with a turnover on downs by LA. Houston makes them pay. They have a slow, methodical drive that stretches its way into the 4th quarter. The 9-play drive. Castillo hits a 44-yarder, and it is 29-17 Houston. It is now a 12-point game. It is 2 possessions. LA gets the ball back. They get to their own 42, and McClendon is in the game. They took out Kanoff. Apparently, Kanoff was not in good spirits. Of course, that earlier 4th down failure we talked about, they were going to punt it. Kanoff said, screw that, we're going for it. Went against Moss's wishes, and they backfired on that pass because he threw it in triple coverage, and the receiver still dropped it. He should have caught that anyways. And on a 3rd and 12, McClendon sits back in the pocket, and the pass deep left for Green is intercepted by who else but Nicholas, the dude who was all over the previous turnover on downs. He catches the ball at the Houston 48. He gets it up to the LA 42 for 10 yards. Whitfield drags him down. And Houston gets the ball in LA territory again, complete after a turnover. It's a 6-play drive. Butler eventually gets in the 4-yard rush to make it 35-17 with 10 minutes left. Lewis gets a 2-yard point catch, and it's 37-17. It's a 20-point game. The nail and dirt are on the coffin. LA just 3s and outs. Houston 3 and outs as well in return. There's now less than 6 minutes left. Kanoff drops back. He's back in the game at his own 26. Drops back about 5 yards, and he is sacked, and he fumbles the football. Gates recovers it, and Houston has a chance to get to the 40-point range, and this is probably their only main offensive mistake of the game, other than a couple of failures, like I think a turnover on downs earlier. They set up shop, 3rd and 1 from the 12. Walker's looking short middle for the end zone. He's looking for Malone, and Wiley gets it as the interception. Probably the lone bright spot for the LA defense all game, Ladarius Whiteley, one of the main safeties. He intercepts it, gets it back to the LA 30. He laterals it to Springs, who gets it all the way to the 37. And with 4 minutes left, LA has the tiniest bit of hope. They 4 and out, or they 3 and out. 4 from 6 to LA 41. You have 3 minutes left. Screw it, Kanoff's running. He scrambles up all the way to the Houston 49 for 10 yards to extend the drive. They false start. And then he incompletes it. And coming out of a 2-minute warning, McClendon's in. Apparently, Kanoff is hurt. Not a great sign for LA, considering that they still have Johnson out for not just week 1, but possibly week 2 against Dallas. McClendon goes back on 3rd and 15th. He gets sacked. It's technically for no yards, but the clock still runs. Incomplete 4th and 15. And all Houston has to do is do 3 straight Butler rushes. They get the first down, and then Walker just kneels it once. Ball game, 37-17. The highest scoring game, highest scoring team, and maybe the most dominant victory. You could also say New York had the most dominant victory, but Houston just wails on LA in the second half, and that's pretty much it. Houston crowns itself as the likely top team in the league for week 1, and Winston Moss, some would say, overreacts and fires his defensive coordinator / linebacker coach less than 48 hours later after a somewhat heated post-game interview. And now LA is in massive panic mode. Of course, if you go 0-2, you're staring up at the ceiling for a while, no matter how good you are since. And they absolutely need to win against Dallas. It's our home opener. If they lose this, the already fickle crowd's just going to completely fall apart. They have to win this game, and they may have no Kanoff. Apparently, he might be hurt. Johnson's still down. And he did practice a bit earlier in the week, so maybe he'll start, but they may have to roll out McClendon. So yeah, that's not good at all. You don't want to roll out McClendon, your third stringer for that game. They haven't made any moves to get a QB. Dallas actually made a QB move, but LA has not. So far, everything that could have gone wrong for LA is probably going wrong right now. If Kanoff and Johnson are both out, they're going to need to at least find an emergency backup to McClendon. The Roughnecks, Walker is the first ever XFL star of the week. He rolls on to face St. Louis at home. They're a 7-8 point favorite over St. Louis, a fellow 1-0 team. Meanwhile, LA is an underdog at home by 4, considering how Johnson is questionable and Londre Jones is likely to start that game. Anyways, this was, I believe, episode 8, yep. And this was probably I'd say the second best game of the week. The Saturday games were definitely better than the Sunday games. While I gave DC game a 9 out of 10, this one's an 8.5. It kind of stinks. LA collapsed in the second, but it was fun to see Kanoff melt down on a couple of those, like that 4th down version. I'm really mad we didn't get an interview with him after he got benched for a bit. And everything in LA is topsy-turvy. Josh Johnson is their chance for a savior, and they need him healthy quick, considering the way the play is going. But yeah, that's pretty much it. This has been episode 8 of the American Noise podcast. Next one, we're going over the Guardians' absolute domination of the Vipers, and we will close out the review week with the Renegades' abject failure against a team that also looked really bad in the Battlehawks. And then, of course, we will finally look forward to week 2. A couple of games I haven't been able to pick yet, mainly Dallas LA, for the lack of the fact they have no confirmed QB starting right now. Also, NYDC seems to be a toss-up despite the 7-point spread. But yeah, that's about it. We'll see you next time here on the American Noise podcast. I've been Andrew Stiles hosting it.